courage you have left. Wasted all on fixing all the problems that you made in your own head. But it was not your fault but mine, and it was your heart on the line. I really fucked it up this time, didn't I, my dear? Didn't I, my dear? Tremble for yourself, man, you know that you've seen all of this before. Tremble, little lion man, you'll never settle any of your scores. Your grace is wasted and your face, your boldness stand alone among the wreck. So learn from your mother, or spend your days biting your own neck. And it was not your fault but mine, and it was your heart on the line. I really fucked it up this time, didn't I, my dear? And it was not your fault but mine, and it was your heart on the line. I really fucked it up this time, didn't I, my dear? It was not your fault but mine, and it was your heart on the line. I really fucked it up this time, didn't I, my dear? Didn't I, my dear? Where's the boom pole when you need it? Yeah, where's the boom pole? Wrap it round. I feel your head resting heavy on your single bed. I wanna hear all about it, get it all off your chest. I feel the tears and you're not alone. Will I hold you, will I won't let go? Why should we care for what they're selling us anyway? We're so younger, and you know you don't have to be led, babe. You don't have to be scared, babe. You don't need a plan of what you wanna do. Won't you listen to the man that's loving you? The world keeps spinning and you can't jump off, but I will catch you if you fall. I can't tell you enough. I hate to hear that you're feeling low. I hate to hear that you won't come home. Oh, why should we care for what they're selling us anyway?
Well, hey everyone, welcome to the happy hour. It's Kristi, your hostess with the mostest technical problems ever. Apparently last show, the last 5 minutes are us just talking about how it's not going on.
I can still hear the music.
You can?
Yeah.
Can you now? Because it's muted. Oh, you know where you're hearing it? You're hearing it. No, that's not going up. I don't know what you're hearing. You're still hearing the music? Do you have the show on somewhere in the background?
Do I?
I think you do. I think I hear the show in the background for you. Anyway. No, I just did a test and we're live. All right, this is boring AF. Do you still hear the music or can we do the show?
No, I can now not hear the music. Okay. I don't know what the fuck's going on.
Hey, Kevin, co-host. How would you like an introduction? How you doing tonight, Kevin?
I'm a creep. I'm a weirdo. What the hell am I doing here?
You do belong here.
I do belong here, to be fair.
Yeah, because you are the co-host, so it kind of wouldn't be the happy hour
Is all I have to say.
All right. That's the Kevin Logan Ode to Radiohead. You heard it here.
Never mind.
Hey, chat. Yeah, so we, a little bit about last time. We were doing our show, it was going along fine, and then suddenly it wasn't working. And we flipped out and tried to figure it out midstream, and it wasn't working. So we had like a 5-minute conversation about what to do, and then we decided it would be a good idea to restart the stream, which also didn't work. But apparently, after the stream crashed, all the crap we were talking kept recording and went out in a broadcast. So here's what's going to happen. If we ever crash and we're just spinning, just like go back 10 minutes or watch it an hour later, and maybe it'll be fixed. But we're not going to we're just going to do this show from us at that point.
Well, we assumed they'd taken it down because of copyright issues. But it appears it was just some sort of weird glitch or something.
It was a super weird glitch, though, because I also tried to go live right afterwards on a different stream, and it did the cog stuff, but as soon as the OBS stuff came up, it just went dark again, which was really strange.
Yeah, so, perhaps YouTube are even worse than they once were.
Yeah, maybe. They're well, if it continues... Shit. I mean, I have been offered fiberglass as this new internet speed, and I've been thinking about it for a year now. Maybe it's just time to upgrade.
Maybe someone needs to apologise to my fucking ancient.
Oh no, your internet gets it deserves all the shit it gets. It definitely does.
Mine's never done that. When mine fails, it actually fails. It doesn't pretend to fail and then not fail.
See, that would just be like my stream, to fail but then still make up for it.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's, as I said off air, I like consistency. I actually said consonant, but it's a very similar word. That will count.
Yes. Don't ever play Italian arias or operas for Kevin with all the long vowel sounds, because he would prefer German cantata with lots and lots of consonants.
Actually, I've said this before. All foreigners' culture is bad. That's the way it works.
We're going to see some of that also expressed as an attitude here.
Yeah, rather than me saying it as a joke, there are people who actually believe that.
Oh, yeah.
Which makes me feel like humanity is beyond worth saving.
Well, I mean, honestly, these are attitudes that have been around for a while, and so it's not like they're new in any way. If anything, challenging them is more...
True, but I mean, back in the day when race, quote-unquote, science was a thing, people were like, well, maybe, I don't know, maybe we are better. The scientists say we're better, whereas now we know better. And people are still like, well, actually, the foreigners are pretty shit. Oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
Just go away. Throw yourself into the sun. Dickheads.
So, also, we're going to pick up a story that one of our people in the chat mentioned about Republicans trying to trick people with fake census documents. I can't remember who it was. It was someone else who did a good shout out of information in the chat. Maybe they'll hear their name and remember. And so, hi to, by the way, Rory Katz, Orion's in the chat. I see Flint. And is that Seafuds? I can't see. My glasses. Culture Shots. Lots of people in the chat tonight.
Yeah. I don't know. Some people exist. Some people don't.
People outside of our immediate interchange are watching this happen.
Why?
Well, I guess because I want to see the rest of the dunking that happened. So you found us a clips package that we hope will not get us. We think if we space it out and instead of just playing the actual file, that it should work out. So have you watched this, Kevin?
Yeah, it's just 5 minutes worth of the best bits.
Okay. Yeah. So we'll still have to pause it and stuff and maybe skip over some bits. Have we watched some of it already?
Yeah, but just go with it. It's 5 minutes. I mean, they let us go for like 45 minutes before. So I can't imagine it's going to be like they're going to...
Yes, someone's a little bit skittish. Okay, so yes, well, how is that volume on that?
I don't know what that was. That sounded like radio interference.
Oh, okay. It was applause. Let's try it again.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
It's a bit loud.
Okay, I will
bit loud.
Tone it down a bit for your delicate ears. Oh, here is she. Okay, this is Elizabeth Warren. She's about to do her specialized move here, her special kill move, where she takes out her katanas and just slices Mike Bloomberg. Oh, by the way, I do think our first bookmark of the night is relevant. From Chris Evans. Holy shit, Bloomberg's favorability dropped 20 points following the debate.
Oh, yeah, really, really bad. But interestingly, I don't know if you looked into the data on that. he actually went up slightly amongst conservatives.
Oh, well, I don't doubt it, because he
Yeah.
was saying things like, I started a business, and that's what they say in Republican
Well, not
primary.
just that, but he came so close. I don't know if you got to that bit, but he came so close when he was discussing the stop and frisk policy. He literally had to stop himself from saying, because he literally said the words, yes, some mistakes were made, but, and then moved on to something else. Because he was about to say, but it worked.
Yeah, because
which,
that's
by the
what
way,
he
isn't
usually
true.
says.
It's not actually true, regardless. But the point is, he knows that would be seen quite rightly as the incredibly racist thing that it is. So conservatives pick up on that kind of stuff, you know. Then I mean, they fucking hell, they become very attuned to it with Donald Trump, I suppose. Yeah, they know a racist when they see one, and they like it.
They kissed a racist, and they liked it. Okay, so I guess we can hear this again.
Talk about who we're running against. A billionaire who calls women fat broads and horse-faced lesbians. And no, I'm not talking about Donald Trump. I'm talking about Mayor Bloomberg.
I actually welcomed Mayor Bloomberg to the stage. I thought that he shouldn't be hiding behind his TV ads. I don't think you look at Donald Trump and say, we need someone richer in the White House.
Let's put forward somebody who actually lives and works in a middle-class neighborhood.
I don't know why they called this highlights from the 9th Democratic presidential debate. I think they should have called it highlights from the killing of Michael Bloomberg by everybody else on stage.
I didn't realize that watching a 78-year-old man get absolutely gang fucked was my thing. But I mean, this was lime green dildo in all directions.
Everyone brought their lime green dildo.
Exactly, yeah. Bloomberg just brought his anus to a lime green dildo party. I mean, you know, he might be into that. That's cool, but I didn't realize I was. So, there you go.
You learned something about yourself.
Exactly. You live and learn. You learn something every day.
All right, hitting play.
In an industrial Midwestern city. Let's put forward somebody who's actually a Democrat. Look.
One thing that I'm really worried about, embarrassed about,
the passion of the Bloomberg.
Was how it turned out.
Hang on, time out on that.
This is why we keep the chat up.
Yeah, that is genius. The passion of the Bloomberg. Oh, you could just see him looking up, going, "Donald, you have forsaken me."
Yeah. Yes. All right, hitting play.
With stop and frisk, it got out of control.
And it's not whether he apologized or not, it's the policy. The policy was abhorrent. And
yeah, from what I've seen, because, you know, people criticized stop and frisk at the time, but it was happening in New York, and it was like a story that, like, when the court found it unconstitutional, got national news. Well, but if I could just, sorry.
Go on, yeah.
But day to day, I mean, the number of black kids that ended up like dropping out of high school that were linked to having been stopped and frisked, and people who, you know, like were terrorized by the police, all that kind of interference. You can't just apologize for that and then move on to another topic. Like, what about restitution, Mr. Blow?
Yeah.
You could actually afford to give personal restitution to every single person harmed by stop and frisk, and you would have plenty of money left over.
Yeah.
You know, that would be a good thing.
And even if you don't necessarily do that, but invest in, I don't know, the fucking NAACP in the tri-state area or something, you know, set up a college fund for black kids, whatever. You could do some shit like that, something positive to try and make some amends for the damage done. But he's not interested in that. And this is what makes me think, I'm not sure if, I mean, it seems highly unlikely after this event, given that 20 points, I mean, that's something you don't bounce back from, really. No. It seems unlikely he would be the nomination, but if he were, would he actually be much better than Trump? He's already shown in his given power.
No, I'm not going to let. No, he would, because he has been in office for 3 terms and he didn't sell out our national security, use the power of his office to go after his political opponents. He didn't personally enrich himself at taxpayers' expense. I mean, there's so many there's a difference between having a super bad policy, but it being legal. I mean, challenged and constitutional. All of that was legal, but Trump is worse.
Well, no, I was about to say, well, it wasn't really legal because it was found to be unconstitutional.
Yeah, but it went through the process. You know, I mean, it wasn't like an impeachment trial. I mean, it wasn't just. He inherited the policy. He should have stopped it. They should have never had it. but it wasn't like what Trump is doing. So no, Bloomberg would at least not be actively allowing Russia to interfere in our elections, I believe, and that is sufficient enough to like at least protect the democracy. So
I think he's unscrupulous enough that I'm not entirely sure. I'm convinced that he wouldn't.
The whole both sides of
that.
Trump, and Trump is in a category by himself. He is a threat to our Constitution. Nothing that Bloomberg has done, gives the idea that he would be just like Trump in terms of his illegal behaviors. He might favor business. He might, stick with the rich tax breaks and all that kind of stuff. But the actual, we're going to come on to some of the stuff he's been doing, people he's been firing lately. It is getting terrifying. His unitary executive.
Right.
Sorry, I just have to push back on that because I saw a lot of, these guys are as bad as the other. No, they're not. They're just not in terms of threats to the Constitution.
All I would say is that he's not been given the opportunity to do any of that yet, and he's as unscrupulous and amoral. I don't trust him for a second. Would he be slightly better? Possibly, just because he would be expected to push some sort of progressive
Trump
issues,
was involved
maybe.
with cons, and he had to compensate people, and he was sued for not paying his bills, and he was, running his foundation as his personal little piggy bank, and yeah, Bloomberg's a billionaire and he's an asshole. But as far as I know, I've ever seen, he's not done anything criminal that would set him up in the way that we had all the warning signs for Trump. Trump hasn't changed at all. So again, this is a very thin line, but there's still a line there.
Okay. I mean,
I would rather have someone in the office who follows the law. That's a pretty minimal requirement.
If it came to it, okay. If it came to it, I might have to myself if I lived in a state where it mattered. But obviously, it's not an issue I'm going to have to face.
Yep.
But it wouldn't feel good.
No, I already said I'm going to pick. If I'm not voting for the nominee I want, I'm voting for the Constitution. That's my choice. It's Trump or Trumpism or having a Constitution. So whoever has got the D.
So it's Gary Johnson then, the libertarian,
yeah,
big constitutionalists.
Yeah, and that. Okay.
I mean, he still doesn't know what Syria is or whatever, but he's for free weed, so
All I know is Trump is unleashed now after impeachment. I shudder to think what he'd be like after he's not have to run for re-election, because he would spend his 4 years trying to change the Constitution so he could stay in power. He would be another Putin.
Possibly so. I don't know if you saw, because obviously we didn't touch on it, did we? Roger Stone going to jail.
Well, he's not in jail yet, but he's been sentenced.
No, but yeah.
Highly critical. Yeah, he got convicted, and there's a whole theory that this spate of pardons of con men and criminals that don't deserve pardons is just Trump kind of signaling to Stone.
Well, yeah, exactly. He came out today and was like, I'm not going to pardon him at the moment because I'm just going to let the system play out. Basically, he's going to wait till November. I wouldn't be surprised if literally the day after the election he pardons him.
Oh, yeah.
Would not surprise me. So,
yeah.
So he might go to 6 months in some minimum security prison at most, and then, yeah.
Yep. So when it comes to the next election, I want the D. That was actually a spinoff of is it Haruku in the Whoever's Got the D, Kristi Winters 2020. Yeah.
So you know how you'll fill in your box then. Okay.
It's good. Yes, exactly. Whoever's got the D, that's how you should fill your box. It's much better than vote blue no matter who.
Yeah. Well, who I'm going for now. I'm deciding to completely fucking mess with the system and go. I'm backing Andrew Yang. Yeah.
Oh.
People might think. Well, he dropped out of the race, Kib. To which I say, that's what he wants you to think.
You're not going to go Gabbard? You're not going to go Fox News, darling? Tulsi Gabbard?
No, I'm on Yang Gang 2020. It's going to happen. He's going to come back from the dead. He's like the Undertaker of politics. He's coming back.
So I want to do some sort of spoof on That's the Sound of the Man joining with the Yang Gang.
Anything involving a Sam Cooke reference gets a thumbs up from me.
All right. So there you go. Happy hour karaoke. All right, I'm going to...
Yeah, and not just that, but a quality modern reference for all the young kids there. A little bit of Sam Cooke for you. Lovely stuff.
The ages of the two men on screen right now would actually take us back to the 19th century if you combined them.
Yeah, exactly. These two are thinking, Sam Cooke, what, that young whippersnapper? Good Lord.
I remember him.
That young coloured chap doing the singing. Oh, outrageous!
Yeah, new Democratic campaign slogan. Yeah, we want the D. All right. Anyway, I'm going to hit play.
And it was, in fact, a violation of every right people have.
I have no tolerance.
Well, not every right.
No, they're Fourth Amendment rights.
Every right. Oh God!
Specifically,
he was re-enslaving black people in New York. No,
no.
Come
It
on,
was
no.
So the Constitution's pretty clear that you shouldn't be deprived of life, liberty, or property without a proper warrant. And in terms of searches, we have probable cause. There has to be a reason. And Stop and Frisk said somebody who was looking a bit dodgy and skittish because the police were around. That was probable cause to search them.
Well, if you're going to walk around being all black and
exactly,
that
is such a BS argument. So it violated their constitutional rights.
Yeah, exactly.
Specifically.
We arrested him for looking a little bit Hispanic.
Also, God, if anyone would have studied statistics, anybody, we should stop teaching algebra and start teaching statistics. I mean, I guess it's important to understand algebra for the concept of abstracting out formulae. But the fact is that it was an ecological fallacy. The idea is, you have high crime areas. So if you just stop random people on the streets in those high crime areas, you're going to get criminals. But what they found was they had fewer stops with drugs or guns on people who are black or brown than white people. Because it's not about geography. It's about whether or not you get stopped by the police. And white people knew they weren't going to get stopped, so they felt safe to carry.
Yeah, so there were white people walking around dressed as heroin needles.
Yeah.
And the police were like, good day, sir. I'm just going to arrest this black chap.
If you want to get a bunch of drugs, go stop and frisk Wall Street brokers. Go over there down to Wall Street and just stop and frisk people going into the stock exchange.
Yeah, go and dust the fucking toilets inside Wall Street and you will have a bag of cocaine by the end of that process.
Yeah,
This is ridiculous.
Yeah, go where they entertain their clients and stop them on their way into the club. Then you're going to find a lot of drugs. Yeah. All right, anyway.
But anyway, before you press play, look at that face. That is the face of a sad puppy who's just spent $500 million to be absolutely fucking reamed on national TV.
Wrecked with an R-E.
This is evisceration.
Yep. All right, hitting play.
For the kind of behavior that the Me Too movement has exposed. In my foundation, the person that runs it's a woman. 70% of the people there are women.
Oh, by the way, Liz Warren's reply to this is delicious. I mean, she absolutely knocked this motherfucker out the park.
You can't just surround yourself with skirts and go, look how pro-woman I am, when you hide behind them.
Yeah.
It's not being feminist when you hide behind women.
No.
As your shield. Hashtag not your shield. Okay, let's see if they have her response.
Company, lots and lots of women have big responsibilities. They get paid exactly the same as men.
And I hope you heard what his defense was. I've been nice to some women.
Look at his face.
Yeah, what do you say to? He can't say anything to that.
I watched it and I thought there's no coming back. I mean, I already thought that literally the first time she spoke. Yeah. I thought, Mike, there's no coming back from this, bro. You are done.
Yes.
And that's where you see 20 points. I'm surprised it was as little as a fifth.
Yeah. And it's, well, I mean, he was only at, like 20 some point. I don't know. It was favorabilities. I don't know what his favorabilities were before this. I'd be surprised if they were above 50. But I always get also suspicious when I see men accused, especially of sex crimes, who hire women attorneys.
Yeah, like Weinstein. I don't know if you saw her thing.
Yep.
I mean, I know she's trying to do the best for her client and all that. But, I mean, some of the things, oh my word, going on about she now supports sex contracts. Oh, you fucking vile human being. Good God. Oof, creepy. Anyway.
Passionate defense of your client doesn't mean you get to keep your soul.
Yeah. But, I mean, how much is your soul worth if you're prepared to sell it so cheap?
Ultimately, that's. I mean, I didn't go into law, but I hope I wouldn't have been a defense attorney for those kinds of clients. I really do. Yeah. All right, hitting play.
Mr. Mayor, are you willing to release all of those women from those non-disclosure agreements so we can hear their side of the story?
He's thinking. You can actually see it buffering.
Yeah.
He's like,
the floundering. It was very much like our stream last night, just going round in circles, just Nothing.
Mm-hmm.
No, it could not be accessed. Amazing. But it kept giving the same response of, well, no, I we made the agreement and that's that. And it was like, well, yeah, but no, it's if they want to release themselves from the agreement, is that okay?
Yeah.
No one's saying you have to do anything. You're just saying if they want to speak out, no one's forcing them. If they individually want to speak out, are they allowed to? And there's no coming back, mate. You're done.
Yep. Just a little shout out to Utah Outcast says, howdy folks, catching you on my commute home. Love you too. Kisses back. Mwah.
Yes. Hello, Utah. Go and check out their podcast. They're amazeballs.
Yeah, and highly critical too. She's got an awesome channel. Check her out. Oh, Mithril's in the chat as well. Yeah, in this
and
case,
Rory Katz. Rory Katz is awesome. Just he doesn't have a channel or anything. He's just awesome.
Yes, by being Rory Katz. You would think that with all the money and all the advice, they would have just put him in a room and made him do debate prep for like 7 hours nonstop for 5 days a week.
Sure, but what can he? I mean, to be fair, and this is always going to be the problem with him running for a party that aren't complete scum. What was he going to say to any of this?
Well, one thing could be, yeah, I'll release. He could actually preempt some of this stuff.
Well, yeah, but he knows.
Talked about it.
Well, true, but he already knows what's going to come out. We already know what those skeletons in the closet are, and he tries to pass it off as, maybe I just told a joke they didn't like. No, you sexually assaulted people. Yeah. You sexually assaulted some of your employees.
Well, harassed I know about. I think the Bernie campaign got in trouble for calling it assault when it was harassment, so...
Okay, I don't know the legal definitions. I would call some of the stories I'd heard as assault, but whatever. Okay, harassment. Either way, he's acted in ways which means that no one should ever vote for him. And in the Democratic Party, that actually does mean something. Obviously, in the Republican Party, that's a positive boon if you sexually assaulted women. But yeah, there's nothing he can do, because if he says yes, then the next day, a dozen of these women are going to come forward and say, oh yeah, he did this and that and the other. Yeah,
and people have come forward saying, "I'd like to be released from my NDA, please." Yes, I'll.
As bad as that is for him, it's not as bad as them literally coming forward and saying what actually happened with legal immunity to do so.
Yeah, but they're going to they have to have, anyway, I would have focus group tested this issue and tried to find the least.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying they handled it. I'm not saying he handled it well, because he really didn't. But I don't know how he could have handled it that wouldn't have been atrocious for him, which is why he should have just kept his money in his pocket and shut up.
He really should never have gotten on a debate stage.
No, this is ridiculous. Never. Yeah.
The more people see him, the less they like him.
It's not even like he's charismatic or well-spoken or charming. So even with all of the other shit on top of it, there's nothing you can do. Look, you've got nothing.
Yep, he's screwed.
You've not just brought like one club in your bag, you've got no clubs in your bag. You're literally having to kick the golf ball along, you idiot.
All right. So, hitting play.
Between two parties that wanted to keep it quiet, and that's up to them.
We are not going to beat Donald Trump with a man who has who knows how many non-disclosure agreements and the drip, drip, drip of stories of women saying they have been harassed and discriminated against. That's not what we do as Democrats.
I believe in democratic socialism for working people, not billionaires.
What a wonderful country we have. The best-known socialist in the country happens to be a millionaire with 3 houses. What I miss here?
Well, you'll miss that I work in Washington, House 1.
That's the first problem.
Live in Burlington, House 2.
That's good.
And like thousands of other Vermonters, I do have a summer camp. Forgive me for that. Where is your home? Which tax haven do you have your home?
New York City, thank you very much. And I pay all my taxes. And I'm happy to do it because I get something for it.
And Mitch McConnell, I've been the object of his affection and the president's affection. The way he's gone after me, this new Republican Party.
Yeah, again, Joe could have, I talked about this last time, that he really didn't own that conversation whatsoever. I'm just putting a pause in because I don't want to, I'm keeping an eye this time. No marks so far, no warnings, no flags on the video. So thumbs up. All right, hitting play.
After me, after my son, after my family. I don't need to be told I'm a friend of Mitch McConnell's. Mitch McConnell has been the biggest pain in my neck in a long, long time.
And that's what we are saying, Pete. Maybe it's a time for the working class of this country to have a little bit of power in Washington rather than your billionaire campaign contributors.
All right, look, first of all...
They don't have a lot of Bernie on this. I'm kind of surprised that I haven't seen much of him, and he's only getting like little segments. Yeah. Maybe he didn't have as many burns because he didn't get scrappy.
Well, he didn't... Well, that's the thing. I think he's playing it reasonably... safe in the sense that he knows he's in the lead, So you just need it not to go terribly.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can get your basic points out there and defend yourself reasonably well, which I think you did, that's enough.
Yep.
It's people, you're the front runner, they have to take you down. So just avoid that.
Okay. Yeah, just a comment. Hitting play.
I know. And if there are a few people who make ugly remarks, who attack trade union leaders, I disown those people. They are not part of our movement.
But leadership is about what you draw out of people. It's about how you inspire people to act.
I have an idea of how we
move
can
us forward.
Stop sexism on the internet. We could nominate a woman for.
That's such a dumb answer. I'm
That
sorry.
is ludicrous. Did
That's
she
such
exist
a
4
dumb-
years ago?
Yeah.
Because that happened.
Yeah.
The thing she's suggesting literally happened,
Yeah.
and it made things. Well,
Amy,
I mean,
no.
I'm not saying you don't do it because it made it worse, but it did make it worse.
That was just not a good answer. Just
No,
really not.
no.
That's a real cheap sort of kind of feminism, that pop feminism that people roll their eyes at, including like feminist critics like myself. Okay.
For candidate for president of the United States.
Mayor Buttigieg really has a slogan that was thought up by his consultants to paper over a thin version of a plan that would leave millions of people unable to afford their health care. It's not a plan, it's a PowerPoint. And Amy's plan is even less. It's like a Post-it note. Insert plan here. Bernie,
I think I'm more of a Microsoft Word guy.
I must say I take personal offense since Post-it notes were invented in my state.
Oh God! Stop being so Minnesota. She reminds me a bit of Leanne Wood,
Leanne Wood,
leader of Plaid Cymru.
Yeah, I was about to say that's a weird. Unless there's an American politician I'm forgetting, that's a weird reference. Go for it.
Well, in that she's very nice, and she comes across as supporting her area.
Yeah.
But she doesn't really connect with like a larger national debate.
Okay, well, the slight difference there that she's literally only running in Wales, so she only cares about.
Yeah, but Nicola Sturgeon, when she talks about the aspirations of the Scottish, people in other parts of the country identify with her and her aspirations.
I suppose, yeah.
You know, people in England have told me they wish they could vote for her. Nobody says that about Leanne Wood.
No,
what they say is she's really good for Wales and she's really concerned about the Welsh people.
And technically, she's not actually the
but
leader.
She's not the leader
of
anymore.
Cymru anymore.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No, it's some absolutely faceless dude.
It really
Who cares? Who cares?
I didn't know his name it's horrible. I mean, I talked about him and asked people about him for weeks, and I still don't remember his name now.
Yeah, he's just pointless. Like you should, whatever you should be. And again, when I say nationalism here, it's not. I don't think of like Trumpian nationalism, the Welsh nationalism. Yeah. But regardless of what kind of nationalism you are, you should never be boring.
Please.
Like there's no excuse for that. If you're doing mainstream centrist politics, boringness is sort of one of the selling points, I suppose. Whereas nationalism, you're supposed to be a bit passionate about something.
Yep.
And he's just like,
but they're so polite. The Welsh.
This would be good for Wales. Oh,
they're a very polite revolution.
Yeah, exactly. Would you mind if we have some freedom? Oh, just go away, you fucking milk toast twat.
All right.
I'm sure he's probably not an evil man or anything.
No, I'm sure he's nice, but on a debate stage, he gets overshadowed by everybody.
Yeah. Well, talking about that, Pete really, I looked at some of the numbers because they obviously started to trickle through a couple of days after the debate. People did not like his bullying of Amy Klobuchar, which is understandable, but good God.
Yeah.
People
I think
really reacted badly to that.
Yeah. I mean, I know that Amy and Pete got mad about the Bloomberg, you guys should drop out and back me. But honestly, like after South Carolina, if they're both in the race, I would just be like, why? Yeah. You're never going to get the top spot. You've never been in first position. You're not going to make it now before Super Tuesday when you don't have the organization. It's time for you to pick somebody and get behind them, I think. So,
it seems unlikely that person's now going to be Bloomberg. So do they go with Biden?
I don't think so. I mean, I don't know. We'll have to see. But they.
So,
they
under your analysis, then, is it basically a fait accompli that Bernie gets the nomination?
Well, unless they back Warren.
Yeah,
or their voters do, because I think they're their voters, Buttigieg and Klobuchar's voters, are much closer to Warren than they are to Sanders. Otherwise, they'd already be with him.
Yeah, probably.
So, she might, get back the people she lost to Amy and Pete and Biden's too, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Well, we'll have to wait and see because none of them seem close enough to be able to really pounce and take that first place. And Warren was so far behind that even with this bounce, Is she going to be close enough? I don't know.
Well, we'll see what happens. South Carolina will be interesting because Nevada is obviously a more diverse state. South Carolina will tell us where at least in South Carolina, where the Democratic Party is in terms of African American votes and black votes. And then we're on to Super Tuesday. So
hang on, African American and black votes.
Yeah, I mean, I don't assume everyone who is black in America considers themselves African American. They might come from other places that aren't Africa.
There are no such things, Kristi. Don't be silly.
People come from Jamaica. Why would they be a Jamaican American if they have generations of ancestors from Jamaica?
Well, that's why in Britain we've got a thing called Afro-Caribbean.
Oh, right. Yeah, you guys do have that category. We don't.
Because I mean, there are probably 4 black Americans that live in Britain, and that's about it. So it's not really like African American doesn't make sense here. Whereas we've got obviously people from Africa and people from the Caribbean, and we don't like to differentiate,
right? Because you have
I presume
white not British and black not British. I think because I mark white not British all the time.
Which is, I mean, that's almost correct. You're almost the right kind of person. You've got the first bit nailed.
Yeah.
Second bit, not so much. You know what I mean? Anyone new to the show, I'm not actually a racist. This is a joke.
Yes. All right.
I sometimes think that new people to the show hear me come on and go,
yeah.
French people are fucking trash. Oh my God. Germany's evil. Like as if I actually believe any of that. Trust me, I am way harsher towards my own nation in a very serious way.
Yeah, he is actually. We'll get onto that in about 20 minutes, I hope.
Oh, yes. Who's looking forward to some nice white British people racism? But serious.
Yeah. Okay, so here we go.
But you're staking your candidacy on your Washington experience. You're on the committee that oversees border security. You're on the committee that does trade. You're literally in part of the committee that's overseeing these things. And we're not able to speak to literally the first thing about the politics of the country to ourselves.
Are you trying to say that I'm dumb, or are you mocking me here, Pete?
I'm saying that you shouldn't trivialize
I made an error. People sometimes forget names. He's basically saying that I don't have the experience to be president of the United States. I have passed over 100 bills as the lead Democrat since being in the U.S. Senate. I am the one, not you, that has won statewide in congressional district after congressional district.
Let's just be clear. Missing a name all by itself does not indicate that you do not understand what's going on. And I just think this is unfair.
There you go. Okay.
Yeah, and I think that's true. I think appropriately, Warren gets the final word because it really was her night. Pete bullied a woman and made her look terrible. That's not a good look. Klobuchar was made to look terrible and inept. Not good. Bernie did okay, which is all he needs to do. Warren smashed it out of the park, which is exactly what she had to do. And Bloomberg was... I'm not going to say he was full Hiroshima, but he was like 3/4 of Hiroshima.
It was a bloodbath.
Yeah.
There was nothing positive that I could say about his performance.
He didn't literally die.
That's true.
So he's able to continue, but that's the only way in which he's literally able to continue. Realistically speaking, he is done.
Yes. So from dunking on Bloomberg to dunking on Tim Pool, I saw this and just thought it was funny. Do you want to read it out?
He's been doing this weird thing. Nathan Bernard, which is a good name. Right-wing YouTuber Tim Pool blames women for his dating woes. Avoids fact he's 34 and has worn the same beanie every day for several decades.
I think he was born with that beanie.
Yeah, I'm not sure that isn't actually just the colour of his skin on his head. It's weird. It's a weird thing he has going on there, but let's not shame him for that.
I wanted that meme of him going into a barber's, and then instead of getting out hair clippers, they just get out a beanie, like taking all the pills off a beanie, and they just shave his beanie instead of his head.
Yeah, it's amazing. But he does this thing. I mean, the surfs have become very, very good for this. They put out little clips and memes of people, and they had, I don't know who was interviewing him. It looked like the Studio H3 use, but it wasn't them. So maybe there's a different thing in their umbrella or whatever. And it was a woman was interviewing him, and he was talking about him as a younger man, and he was going on about, I was such an asshole, I was this, I was that. The ladies loved it. You're like a 1970s throwback creature. No wonder no one wants to go near you, Tim. You fucking weird little creep. And people have seen you having lunch chummily with Nazis. Again, that might work for Laura Loomer, and that's about it. She might want to create Aryan Jew babies with you, but that's about it, mate. And I would advise to go nowhere near it, because she's fucking mental.
Yeah.
So,
Definitely don't want that drama in your life.
No.
Patton Oswalt retweeted this from Christian Vanderbroek. If reporting is accurate, the president purged his intelligence chief because Congress was informed of a foreign effort to help him politically. How is this not a massive scandal? Well, it is a massive scandal, but it just has to get in line with all the other ones, like the one underneath. That somewhere Assange is in a court case.
He's still in Britain. He's still in Britain.
Is he?
Yep.
Well, he's in a court case somewhere, and his attorney said that Trump offered him a pardon if he said the Russians didn't give him the information.
Yeah, he's still in Britain. It literally says the Westminster Magistrates Court.
Okay.
But I don't know, because the Swedish rape thing, they dropped again.
Right.
Which is really annoying. But they basically knew if they're in an extradition queue behind America, they're not going to get him. So why waste the money continuing an investigation?
I guess we could actually look up the facts and learn something. Do more than Sargon does.
Yeah, but the whole point is his lawyer claims that Trump, via an advocate or whatever, stepped forward and offered him a pardon. If he'd come out and say a thing that no one believes other than Trump's fans anyway, which is apparently he wanted him to come out and say Russia didn't do anything, even though his communications that WikiLeaks have already released already show that they did. And we know that Russia was feeding them information. Which, again, I don't think even Julian Assange denies. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know what he thinks he's going to get out of that, really. It's very strange.
Yeah, it doesn't say when here, at least in this first paragraph, when he was offered the pardon. So it could have been, before the impeachment. Let's see.
Also, if he's offering a pardon, does that mean he's already been convicted in America?
Yeah.
In absentia?
Well, no, I think, I don't know how that would all work. Maybe he would pre-pardon him and then he couldn't be charged. But this is actually not new news. It's coming back again because I actually saw this too. That former Representative Dana Rohrabacher was involved in delivering a message to Assange, and he said that it was involving a pardon.
Well, it does. Wednesday's preliminary hearing, Assange's lawyers told the court that in August 2017, Republican Congressman Dana Rohrabacher visited Assange at the Ecuadorian embassy in London. Yeah. I've mispronounced all of the things.
Good for you. Well done. Yeah. Basically, Trump is corrupt, and he's using official constitutional powers.
I'll go back. There was a quote.
Okay, I'll go back. Now I have to consent again to having cookies or something.
No, once you've gone onto the same from the same site from the same device, you don't have to do it again. It logs automatically. Your thingy-majig.
Piss off.
But you still have to try and register with the Independent.
Right.
Anyway, here we go. Right, so Fitzgerald quoted a statement from another Assange lawyer, Jennifer Robinson, to the court by detailing the visit. Mr. went to see Mr. Assange and said on instructions from the president he was offering a pardon or some way out if Mr. Assange said Russia had nothing to do with the DNC leaks.
Corrupt. Yep.
In 2017 as well, so I mean he was...
Yeah. That was Mueller investigation time.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm surprised Assange kept this up his sleeve for so long. But maybe he's thinking, I need to keep this back in case the Ecuadorians kick me out, which they did.
Maybe. Maybe.
I don't know.
Oh, we'll skip that. Also, by the way...
Boo, bitch!
Yeah, exactly. The aide who is helping him, and I don't know why he's not getting investigated by the Ethics Committee, but he is now working for the new intelligence acting, the DNI, what is that? Department of National Intelligence, the completely unqualified person that Trump has put in, has Devin Nunes's aide, who is involved with the whole Ukraine stuff and mentioned by name during the impeachment hearings and trial.
No. Well, that's not incestuous at all. That's fine.
The corruption continues. Okay, so this was the clip. So we'll start with this lady. So you want to, tell a little bit about, did you watch this Question Time?
No, because Question Time, I mean, it's always been shit, but it's especially so now because they've essentially rigged it to the point where the Tories always have a supporting majority in the crowd. They used to do it basically, if you're a local, come along, which is why they moved from town to town. Like it's being hosted in Weymouth, which is a lovely little town in the southwest. And you get a local flavour, right? You get people from the local area who support the kinds of things that the local area do. Whereas the first they revealed of their new scheme of having the done on proportional to the percentage of the national vote in the recent general election, they had it in Liverpool, which elected 0 Tory MPs, but had a Tory majority in the crowd. So what's the point in going to any of these places? You're not getting a different sense of like the local attitude towards a thing.
You're homogenizing it.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's pointless. But anyway, yeah. So this, Question Time, BBC's flagship political debate program, gets millions of viewers, and it's basically a joke now. Again, showing that just because a woman is taking charge of a thing doesn't make it better necessarily. The new host, Fiona Bruce, is fucking dreadful. I mean, she really is atrocious. Taking over from Dimbleby, who was okay, at least impartial. It's unwatchable now, to the point where this woman is not a fluke. She, they have Tory dickheads in there all the time. And not only that, but it was found out that she's actually a free Tommy Robinson.
This woman person. Is?
Yeah, she was at various of his rallies.
Oh, gross. Oh, gross. Yeah. Well, this explains the just complete propaganda.
Yeah, this is what happens when you get fed 50 years of right-wing tripe, xenophobic bullshit.
And I made the point in the tweet, I'm not going to share or redo the screen because I've got it the way I like now. But I pointed out that what she's about to say isn't xenophobia, it's racism. Because, and I'll point, you'll hear her say it, but one of the things she talks about is going into the doctor's office and seeing signs in the doctor's office in multiple languages. So fucking what? Yeah. I mean, if that offends you, then you're not just xenophobic. You're actually a massive racist. You're saying people who are citizens, who are maybe refugees and coming here for a better life, which is one of the things that a government is committed to do, is saving human lives in those situations. Maybe they don't have perfect English. And so it's great to have it in multiple languages so everyone understands what's going on and can use the services that they pay for. Because if they're in the country and working, they're paying for the service. And for you to want to take that away from them basically means that you want to shut them out, which means you're not xenophobic. You're actually purging people based on their language abilities.
Yeah. And this is the annoying thing when I'm sure she'll have called people snowflake in the past, and yet she gets annoyed that there are like bilingual signs at hospital. Who cares?
Exactly.
At least if you can understand one of those signs, presumably the English one, assuming she can read, fine. What's the issue?
And
I mean, it's not as if the Urdu one gives you the same information and also says "fuck whitey." Like they're all exactly the same translation, giving you the same information.
Yeah, and the British Empire, like the American Empire, was built on exploitation of people from around the world. And we went over, in America, we just kidnapped people and then we genocide the native peoples and took over their land.
That was sort of on us as well, though. Like we started that really.
Yeah, we kept it going though.
Yeah.
Yeah. We kind of
true, but we kind of even after we'd technically stopped doing it ourselves, we were still buying the cotton.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But also, in terms of taking over parts of the country or the world, not the country, and calling it part of the empire. But then when babies of mixed backgrounds want citizenships, oh no, suddenly it's blood. So you want to be able to extract things, but when people who were part of the empire want to come to Britain, oh no, you can't have this part of the empire. This is a whites only part of the empire. We go to you. You can't come to us.
Exactly. We stole all your shit. You can come and visit it on holiday, but you can't come here and actually.
No, that's for the Canadians and the Australians. But
again, only the white ones.
Yeah.
Please. Aboriginals need not apply.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, the reason they were talking about this is because the the racist wet dream of the Australian-style points-based immigration system is coming to Britain. Yes, the right wing are so obsessed with anti-immigration stuff that they want a similar immigration system to the one in the, I would say, borderline genocidal immigration system in Australia, where people are held in concentration camps and essentially murdered. That's what the government are planning to do in terms of the points-based thing. The concentration camps, not so much yet, although it's thin end of the wedge possibly. And there's been this whole thing about unskilled labour, which is ridiculous. It's low skilled labour. It might be low wage, but it's not low skilled, I assure you. Cleaning up an old person who shit themselves,
keeping them healthy and making sure they don't have diaper rash or infections.
Yeah,
that's high skilled.
I ask Donald Trump, I suppose, but Boris Johnson to do that for a week and not break. Mm-hmm. And then tell me it's low skilled, you fucking little pricks. Anyway, let's listen to this fucking abomination.
All right, here we go.
Interesting what you're saying here. 68 million people now live in England, going up, UN estimates. At what stage does the panel and people think this country has had enough? That we should close the borders completely?
Wait, why isn't she talking about instituting mandatory contraception if she's worried about population increases?
Yeah. Absolutely. Or some sort of purge. I've got at least one person in mind who might be first to the queue. Just in Minecraft, of course.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, if she's not really worried about population.
No. Well, none of them are. It's about the colour of the people's skin. And that's the funny thing about the Brexit thing, and I'm going to keep pointing it out until eventually they realise that they're not going to have fewer people coming here. The government have already said this. Fucking Boris Johnson's own people have already said this. They foresee no reduction in immigration numbers for the foreseeable future. It's just that they won't be coming from the EU. They'll be coming from outside of the EU, the majority of them. So you're going to have more people of colour. So instead of having white Poles coming over, you're going to have brown Indians or black Africans.
The government said they wanted more English-speaking engineers. I'm like, open the doors to India. There are millions of them.
There are millions of them. Well, and not just that, but the Indian government already said the free trade agreement, which is going to be the cornerstone. That's why we're actually going to have less national sovereignty on the international stage, because the only thing we're going to be seeking is a free trade agreement with every fucker, because we've given up on the 70 plus we already had as members of the EU, and now we have zero. And the Indian government have already said, as their opening gambit, that they want tens and tens of thousands more per year visas for Indian people to come to Britain.
Yeah.
For students, in significant numbers, for people like engineers and so on and so forth, because a huge percentage, especially in rather poor areas where a poor kid gets educated, there aren't necessarily the jobs there, but there are in Britain, and they send back a proportion of that money to India, to their relatives in very poor areas, which makes up a very significant part of their income and their economies locally. So the Indian government are prepared to train them up and send them here. But Little Miss Racist here probably won't like it when Mr. Patel and Mr. Singh start turning up in tens of thousands. But they've already said that's what they want as a prerequisite for any free trade agreement. So tough shit. And I welcome it. I welcome the oncoming genocidal white genocide flood
of English-speaking engineers who are going to fill jobs that expand the British economy.
Well, exactly. That's the thing. The immigration system, saying you want fewer immigrants is one thing. But what you have to do is you have to actually put things in place to train the people who are already here and the people who will, arrive as, a mummy racist and a daddy racist who love each other very much, get drunk and then have sex, and people pop out, little ones, a few months later. And you have to train those people up. And the government have consistently underfunded all of those things. So you're going to have fewer people coming in from abroad, no extra people being trained. What do? You have to fill those roles, or people start dying in their huge numbers. Yeah, which would be a solution to overpopulation, yes, but probably not the one you want.
Yeah. And also, Tegoat in the chat points out it's 68 million people in the UK, or Britain.
Yeah, so it's like, is it 6 million
not
in
million, and not
Scotland,
England.
3 million in Wales, and was it 1.5 million in Northern Ireland?
Yeah.
So yeah, about 60 million in England. Yeah.
Yeah, not
which is quite a
68.
lot. It's quite densely populated, but again, the whole point isn't that there are too many people here. It's that governments have consistently underfunded infrastructure, like schools and hospitals, for a long time, but especially under the Tory austerity plan.
I mean, you guys have crazy land management planning. I mean, all the cities are just densely packed in, and then you get just, miles and miles and miles of green.
Yeah.
It's not like the States at all, where there's suburbs and then like loosely populated areas where people stretch over miles. Like everyone lives in a cluster.
Well, I'm sorry we didn't have fucking thousands and thousands of acres to steal off natives.
Well, no, I'm just saying, for people who don't live there, when people keep talking,
drop.
Yeah, but when people in the States hear about overcrowding in Britain, it's also because of the way that you guys have zoned things. And I think it was right. You did want to keep people in one area and farming in another and nature in another, and I think it's good. But the other thing is that it's just not really common for people to live in what you call static homes, and lots of people live in trailers in the States. And houses are expensive, and you don't have the sort of culture of trailer parks, if I'm honest, that would actually could potentially house thousands and thousands of people, but nobody wants to build those. And I don't know if it's a coding issue or whatever else, but there's certainly blocks to addressing some of these issues that could be re-examined and looked at. And yeah, infrastructure, schools and hospitals, instead of a fucking fourth nuclear submarine, have those. Yeah.
So. That's the basic issue, yeah. You're looking completely at the wrong solution, little Miss Racist.
Yep.
It's not the immigrant that's the problem. It's Boris Johnson, who I assume you voted for.
Yeah, and as we'll see in Ash's retort, which you linked, I don't know if it's part of this clip or not, but I know you have it, so I saved it. She says, immigrants actually are a net revenue. And Racist Lady was like, no, they're not. I'm like, no, totally they are. Because you have to think about when people come over on visas, immigrant visas, that includes all the students who are coming in. They're young and healthy. They work in part-time jobs. They pay taxes, and they demand very little on the NHS, maybe contraception and flu shots and shit like that. STDs and penicillins. But they actually pay way more especially in tuition and consumption and creating jobs, and also filling housing, to put money in the pockets of landlords. All of that stuff isn't coming domestically. A lot of that stuff is coming from abroad.
And one of the dumbest elements of us just deciding to have a clean break with the EU is a thing called the Erasmus scheme, which is an absolutely amazing scheme where people from various EU countries, if you're a student, you can go and train in some other place, and then they'll send some here, and people go here, there, and everywhere, and they get trained. But the thing is, now we're not going to be part of the Erasmus scheme. It would appear our people aren't going to have the benefit of that, but the EU still are. It's just the ones that they would have sent to the UK, they'll just distribute to other places.
Yep.
So they will lose nothing, and we will lose our entire benefit from that. And it was a net cost neutral, because like you say, people coming in essentially paid for the people going out. It was fine.
Yeah. I talked to a colleague who's still in British academia today, and they said that they're so frustrated with their new vice chancellor because he only cares about international students, because that's where the money is.
Yeah.
Domestic students basically pay for themselves, and that's about it. So if you're not recruiting international students, universities aren't going to be staying afloat.
Yeah. So and that's the point. If we're going to say we want to invest in the training up our own people because we want fewer immigrants, which is apparently what this woman wants, you have to make it financially viable, which means you have to invest in universities and schools and things. And they're not going to do that. So the same continuous problem will apply. And it's, by the way, it's not a problem. If we train up some Indians and they go and make India better, that makes the world better.
Yeah.
And it's not as if we didn't get our value out of India. Okay. Yeah. Our entire wealth is from tea from India, selling opium to China, and fucking diamonds from under Johannesburg. And of course, the millions of human lives we destroyed by transporting them across the Atlantic and working them to death, and then denying them the rights to stay in Britain even though they've lived here all their lives. Hashtag Windrush shame.
And also the cross-cultural influences. I mean, if you have students from China coming in and experiencing
coronavirus
life under democracy, and they can use the internet and they're not blocked from using certain sites, and they can look things up and they can see information on the Chinese government that they can't have for 4 or 5 years or 6 years or whatever if they do a PhD. They take that experience back with them.
Yeah.
And so it's a soft power influence kind of thing.
Although it doesn't always work, because of course Kim Jong-un, the current one, the younger lad, he was educated in Switzerland.
Well, yes, but of course he had a vested interest in keeping the power structure the way it was.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Which is, by the way, how he's such a fan of NBA basketball, which led to Dennis Rodman becoming a thing.
Okay, now it all comes together. Although Switzerland is not really known for basketball, so still a little bit.
Oh, it is. No, there's a thriving basketball scene in Switzerland. Yeah. Thabo Sefolosha being a prime example.
Would never have guessed. You are a fountain of sports knowledge, Kevin.
Well, thank you.
All right, let's get back to racist lady here.
Completely close the borders, because it's got to the stage now there's no education, schooling, infrastructure. It's enough. We are sinking. Surely someone's got to see common sense and say,
sinking
in brown people.
Yeah, we're drowning in
a
black
sea
people.
of brown people. No, actually, it's called underfunding, and also over-regulating education, over-regulating it to death, and making everything about testing so the government can point to metrics.
Yeah, as
As opposed to education.
It's been
and knowledge.
Sort of an overdone point, but I think it's absolutely true. In Britain, we don't teach kids to knowledge or skills. We teach them to pass tests, which is useless, because you literally will never have to do that in your adult. Well, not never, but very rarely will you have to actually do anything like that or need those skills in adult life. You need skills and knowledge, and a little bit of character development and all of that sort of stuff that goes into education. Yeah. Ultimately, you don't need to learn to have to pass exams. Parrot teaching kids certain facts that they'll need for a test is useless.
Yeah, I think the whole, I didn't like it myself, but the benefit of a general education all the way through high school is, I was forced to take a certain amount of maths and a certain amount of science and a certain amount of social studies and a certain amount of English. And then I could either do foreign languages, and I could do social studies like psychology or sociology. We had government class, or you could do shop classes and learn some skills, like to set you up in a trade, get some experience with metalworking or making a lamp.
Yeah.
Right?
We had design and technology, as an option.
But, I think, it seems to me there's a lot of tracking in European education where you're sort of like specialized, and I think getting exposed to more, even if you like the social sciences, you should be forced to take some biology, because you should know these things, know.
And not just that, but I think what would have helped Britain, especially in the European thing, is if we only really force kids to do French for the first 3 years
language
of high school,
learning,
and that's it. And then you can go, let's opt out then, and everyone does. That's why no one speaks a fucking foreign language here, which doesn't help. Because then the advantage of going over on the Erasmus scheme or something like that is vastly reduced, because no one can speak any languages, which you can get away with to a degree, because you can go up Mount Everest and you'll find some fucker who speaks English. They're everywhere, but that's not helpful. You should try and learn other fucking languages and try and see other people as worth knowing and things.
Yeah, it makes science a lot less scary if you can speak a couple languages.
Yeah. Even if it's not particularly fluently, just a bit of pidgin that you can go over and have a conversation with.
But also in your own country, when you see a sign and you go, oh, there's a sign in Spanish. Like, it's less, and I think, we'll get to the language thing, but this whole idea of being scared of languages just
but that's the problem with when you get into like Hindi and Chinese, because they've got weird letters.
Oh, yes, then it's
they've got weird squiggly letters. Oh, it's so silly. Use the Roman one. Come on now.
Yeah, now let's go get a curry.
Yeah. Well, but I mean, we took the curry and we made it into the Balti. So checkmate all of Indian culture.
All right, let's get through the racist lady here. We're not even halfway through hitting play.
Enough is enough. You've got people flooding into this country that cannot speak English. I've come from London. In the National Health Service, everything's written in different languages. How much is that costing?
Nothing. Like
the same cost to make a sign.
Yeah, basically, it's like a tenth of the paperclip budget.
Yeah.
Like, it's nothing.
It's extra ink.
Much do you think? Yeah, how much do you think it costs to build a sign? £100? Look, it's not even a drop in the bucket. It's a drop in the ocean. It's nothing. Why would that bother you in the slightest? I've never looked at a bilingual sign and thought,
how much did that cost?
Yeah, this is an outrageous No, I look at the fact that inside they're scrimping and scraping for like fucking cleaners and stuff, and thinking, wow, the government should really stop being cunts. That would be nice.
Yeah.
Because the bilingual sign is not the problem.
No.
And of course, let's not look past the fact that she said flooding.
Yeah.
Because again, the dehumanization, these aren't people. Mm-hmm. This is like a tidal wave of filth. That's all these people see it as. They're despicable. And I have to live around trash like this. Oh my God.
Yeah, well, this is a white privilege. At least we don't have to interact with trash like this not being white.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, that's true. I can walk past them in the street and I don't get a funny look.
Yep.
Or, the police called on me or something.
All right. Yes. How many billions have been spent on extra printer ink? None. I'll tell you right there.
Well, no, I presume she means because they'll often have like, hello, welcome to such and such hospital. And it'll be like in English and then maybe Hindi or something. So it's more than just printer ink. But even so, it's like, costs nothing.
No.
It's like it's if that hospital has like £1 billion to spend, that costs 0.0001% or something.
As you said, there are way more important things that need proper funding that have nothing to do with other languages.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Hitting play.
How much is it costing for the interpreters? Sorry, madam. How much is it costing for the interpreters? I was in hospital last week. The interpreter never turned up for the people who couldn't speak English. She was paid. They all had to go on, and all the radiologists stood around doing nothing. What sort of country is allowing this? What? So
we're supposed to kick out people because other people don't turn up to do their jobs?
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. How much did it cost? If they didn't turn up, presumably nothing. Because they didn't turn up.
I think she was talking about all the people who are waiting for them. But still, okay. I don't see why someone should be denied radiology because of this.
Yeah, well, it's nonsense.
And would she have complained if it was a white person who was deaf and needed a translator because nobody around them spoke sign language in the staff and that person didn't turn up? Would that have been a waste of money? Or is it only kind of disabilities, or not disabilities, but obstacles that aren't for white people?
Yeah.
All right, hitting play.
Of countries allowing this tourism to come in. You arrive in a plane, you get free service, you can have your babies, you can just carry on having it all for.
I do have to step in.
Yeah, please do.
Because this is one of the things that so annoys me. Again, this is what I mean by 50 years of lies and xenophobic shit. Because that isn't true. What happens, and it depends on exactly where they're from, but let's say they're from the EU, especially as we were members of the EU. Is that we already had treaties in place where if a French person, let's say, gets on a plane, comes here, whether they intend to give birth here or not, or they intend to have an operation here or not, and they need medical procedures, we give it because we've got a system based on
exchange
free at the point of use.
Yeah.
But if they're not British citizens, what we then do is we recoup the cost from the French government.
Mm-hmm.
So when she says here, why aren't there points in hospitals where they can get money from this? Because there's such an insignificant thing that they would be a net loss in money to employ someone to sit there not accepting money from foreigners because you get 2 foreigners a year at the fucking hospital. It's ridiculous. We recoup our money, or at least a very significant portion of our money. I'm not saying it's absolutely free or whatever. Like, I'm not saying it exactly breaks even, but we get the vast majority of our costs back.
Yeah,
because
basically,
we go to those foreign countries.
That procedure in that country would cost that much.
Yeah, and they send us that money. Or we can decide to bargain that away as a government, if we wish to, for some other concession in international diplomacy, which again is free for the British government to do. Right? So either way, the British government gets its money for those operations. This concept of health tourism is a right-wing scare tactic. That's all it is. There is not some huge drain on the NHS or on public funds of foreigners coming here getting service. And what would you have doctors do, having taken the Hippocratic Oath, to turn around and say, well, we've checked your credit card, Mr. Garcia Hernandez, and unfortunately, you've maxed it out, so we're just going to have to let you die.
And again, not a realistic understanding of what actually goes on.
Yeah, it's ludicrous. This is the result when you have it's spoken with such confidence by this fucking twat, this absolute prick of a human being I'm looking on the screen, who, like I say, in the Minecraft purge, she's very much at the front of the list. It's spoken with such confidence of a person who's never analysed anything, who's never actually thought, am I full of shit? Because they've been constantly pumped up on this diet of
Daily Mail headlines,
right-wing hysteria.
And Tommy Robinson rallies.
Well, exactly, yeah, which is very similar in many respects, yeah. And there's the confidence of them when they're so unbelievably wrong. God, it's annoying.
Okay, we're almost to the end.
Free. Why haven't they got points set up in the hospitals and you pay like you do in every other country you go to? You wouldn't turn up in America and be allowed to go for free.
Actually, you would at an emergency room. They would treat you. They have to treat you. So,
yeah.
I mean...
And not just that, but like I say, there are so few foreigners who get healthcare here that in most hospitals it would be a net loss of money to employ someone to sit there doing nothing.
Yeah. So, Kevin, oh, right. Yeah, and then they just left it. That's what they put up. Just this woman ranting. That's it.
Yeah. Because this is the idea of balance now.
Just putting out anti-immigrant propaganda.
Just putting out racist fucking filth like that piece of garbage. God damn it, I despise some British people. Anyway, Ash Sarker's very good. Now, presumably, she's the kind of person that the lady doesn't like.
Yeah.
I wonder why. I can't think.
Well, she does call her on her shit. So
because I don't see colour, so I don't know why that would be an issue.
Same way I can't see people when they're Jewish. I don't see. No, I see the people. I just don't know that they're Jewish.
No, you have. Yeah, that was like a fucking like when a vampire looks in the mirror. They're just not there. Yeah, Jews don't exist to Kristi. No, very racist.
People exist. I just it never crosses my mind they're Jewish.
What, the fact that he's got "Hello, my name is Rabbi Horowitz" on his fucking
that
lapel.
Would probably tip me off.
Jesus,
that would probably tip me off. Okay, so we want to.
Plus, if he's got Rabbi Horowitz, it's probably 7 Jewish rabbits dressed up.
No, not the rabbits thing again. Not the rabbits thing again. All right, I'm hitting play.
On this matter of health tourism, what has been found is that...
So we should point out that she was on the panel for this show, so she's directly responding to the person. You'll see her in a second, but just for the context there, we're not just playing a random clip of Ash Sarker saying a thing somewhere else.
Yes.
This is very relevant.
Connected. And she just mentioned health tourism. Also, you notice her title isn't failed journalist.
No.
Like other people we know. All right, hitting play.
What's that?
Migrants to this country bring more and contribute more in tax than they take out of the system. No, it's true. It's a fact.
Rubbish.
It's a fact. Sorry. Fact.
What are you know about failed journalist? What?
Failed journalists. Failed journalists. You saw my tweet.
Is that Tim Pool?
No, see, this was what I thought. I was watching your Descent of Manosphere on Brexit, and you started to introduce someone, and you introduced him.
Oh, Milo. Sorry, yes.
Yes, but I was like, oh, Andy, no, Tim Pool, and Milo didn't even cross my mind.
Yeah. Well, because this was old. I mean, we're talking about Brexit, yeah. I've started, oh, God. Well, we talked about this, didn't we? Mothballed my main channel, so on my backup channel, I'm putting all the old Descent of Manospheres up one a day. I haven't put one up today yet, though, so I'll probably do that tomorrow now. But yesterday or the day before, I put Brexit up, and that involved. Well, that was back when Milo was relevant. Yeah,
long time ago. Yeah, but I was watching it because I've forgotten it because it was so long ago. I was watching it like it was new.
Well, I put one about Mr. Repshan, and everyone was like, "Oh no, he's all right. Why are you having a go at him now?" And I was like, "No, this is from 3 fucking years ago." And also, I'm not sure he's okay.
Yeah.
Less shit than he was.
He just
grew up a little bit.
Okay, that's good.
And the fact that when he was 18 or whatever it was, he put up a thing about manspreading where he literally had his tiny cock and balls on show in tighty whities. That can never not be funny. There's no way I'm not going to rip him for that. Not a chance. Anyway, sorry, go on.
Yeah.
So anyway, Ash Sarker's making a very good point about immigrants being a net contributor, and the woman just says rubbish. Because that's all you need. In post-truth Britain, that's all you need to say.
No.
Rubbish.
No. I don't believe you because I don't want to. I mean, I can tell you the number of times it would take at least 2 hands that I remember that I can, when I was talking to usually cab drivers It's usually a conversation that comes up because I'm normally in the UK around an election or some kind of political event. And oftentimes, especially since 2010, it's been about immigration does come up. And it's shocking to me how easily cab drivers will just complain about immigration. And then they'll say, oh, but not like people like you.
Yeah.
Like, what
they're notoriously racist. Yeah.
Fuck? Like, why? Why me?
Also, with Kev, it always takes two hands. Oh, yes.
Sorry, what was that about?
I was on about my penis size. Never mind.
Yeah, but
it takes two hands. Because you were going about if you had to count it would take at least two hands.
Okay, sorry, I'd already forgotten that line. Got it. Okay.
You said it. You forgot what you said.
You said about yourself, and I didn't realize it. Never mind. I'm hitting play. She's going to, by the way, she's pulling out a facts don't care about your feelings.
Yeah, which is nice.
Yeah.
Don't care about your feelings. It's a fact. So, one is that migrants, particularly when they're young, they're working age, they're contributing to the private sector through the form of paying rent, through paying for their cost of...
Can I just point out, these are the people that often say that the immigrants don't blend into our society. They're very rude, these immigrants. They don't blend in. You'll notice that Ash Sarkar did not shout rubbish over this woman when she was speaking. No. She just allowed her to say her bit.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
And then as soon as Ash Sarkar starts speaking, rubbish.
Yeah, and she
that's
gets the
not
camera
a conversation.
away.
Yeah, that's not a conversation, is it? That's you shouting now.
Yeah, why didn't the BBC put
uncouth garbage bag?
Yeah, why didn't the BBC put this with that other clip? They had up to they could have shortened up that lady's comments to health tourism and put this reply in, but they chose not to.
Well, no, because it's not that wouldn't be balanced, would it, Kristi? Clearly. What you need is a completely out of context quote of a racist woman going on about floods of immigrants.
Yeah.
And we're sinking.
By the way, yeah.
No, that's the well, in a way, is that them misreading the signs of sea level rise? Do they think instead of the sea level rising, we're actually sinking?
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe that's what it is. I don't know.
Also, someone was like, be careful what you say about taxi drivers. Actually, I really like talking to taxi drivers. I spend a lot of time in cabs in the UK, usually because I arrive very late and end up having to take a taxi to my final destination because I don't want to walk around at 1:30 in the morning with my case. But no, I always enjoy talking with cab drivers from all over the UK, and they're not all terribly racist. And they come from a lot of different backgrounds. And one thing I will say about cab drivers, I will always make conversation directed at them because I'm usually too tired to think. So I will inevitably ask them, so have you just started, or are you coming to the end of your shift, or are you in the middle of it? And the number of times drivers, men, women from all different backgrounds, tell me they've done, they do 10-hour days, they do 11-hour days, they go home and sleep and get right back in their car. Those are some of the hardest working people I know, and they're not always driving, but they're out there, and so, I always enjoy talking with cab drivers, like an informal little focus group that I can't report on. So, just for the record.
Okay. I have my opinion on taxi drivers is some of them are right, some of them are shit. That's fine.
Yeah.
It's just like every other thing.
Well, I mean, it's certainly you get people with a certain background won't go into cab driving. Although you get a lot of immigrants who have advanced degrees. I've met in cabs. Who cab drive because they can't get their doctor's license in Germany. It won't transfer for where they came from, kind of thing. So yeah, really quite a wide range of backgrounds.
But with the actual worthwhile public transport system in Germany, a taxi is a big thing.
Yeah, I mean, in Cologne, we have quite a lot of taxis always lined up by the main station because it's a huge hub and a lot of people use it to get out to different areas, a stadium, for instance, or other convention centers on the other side
Kristi,
of town.
The stadion!
Yes, that too. And even I've been known at night if I feel too drunk to walk home, I do know where there are taxi ranks in the popular areas, so...
You lazy motherfucker.
Yeah, if I can't keep 100%, if I don't feel like I can keep aware of my surroundings, I take a cab. I'm such a wimp. All right, hitting play.
Of living in this country and also contributing to this country through taxes. When it comes to Britain, we have an aging population, so you've got more and more people.
Like you.
We have an Asian population. What?
We have a lot of older type of AOPs, people who use their senior discount on the bus.
OAPs.
Yes, OAPs, not AOPs. That's something else. That's like an
That's
OAC.
Yeah, you've mixed up Ocasio-Cortez and old people.
And OPP.
Well, I'm down with OPP.
Yeah, you know me.
Well, we're getting closer. We've gone from Sam Cooke to OPP, so we should be in the 21st century before you know it.
Yeah, so the lady there with her arms crossed is the one who's going to be relying on someone, needing someone to wipe her ass in about 15 years.
Yeah, I do hope Mr. Singh does his job and like keeps her alive. And I mean that genuinely.
Yeah, because he'd be doing his job and keeping up with his oath.
Yeah.
So yeah, sure, her body language is really open to this information.
Yeah, definitely listening.
Chin up, arms crossed.
You know, when you
legs
go,
are crossed.
Okay. I'm not going to make any comments about that, Kristi. You're rude.
Her ankles. No, I think her body language is all. I'll find it.
But when you go to a show called Question Time, that also includes answer time. So you don't just get to ask a question and then that's it.
Yeah.
Like the people get to answer. Otherwise, it's just essentially pointless. It's not called rhetorical question time.
Yes, it's not called contradiction. It's not the contradiction clinic. It's the argument clinic.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Monty Python. Okay.
Also, why is she sat next to Jamie Lee Curtis?
Those glasses those are awesome glasses. I like that look. Whoever that is, they're rocking it great.
It's Jamie Lee Curtis.
I don't think so.
It
but...
is.
All right.
It is.
Hitting play.
Out of the workforce, and at the moment with our birth rates we don't have enough people aging into the workforce to be able to support the kind of social care and pensions needs which are only going to grow. But one thing that I really want to say, because this is really important to me, is I don't want to just make the case for migration on GDP in the labour force. I want to make the human case for it. My grandmother came to this country, she was 17, and it was to fill a gap in the labour market which still exists, which was for social care. Under these rules, she wouldn't have been able to come to this country. She wouldn't have been able to meet my grandfather, fall in love, have children, have some grandchildren. I know not many of you will agree that all of her grandchildren were a good idea, but, you know, we exist. And that's a human story that's got worth, and it's got a value which cannot be measured merely in GDP.
I understand that.
Good for you, Ash.
Yeah, I thought that was really well said.
Mm-hmm. That it's about quality of life, too. And, you know, Ash has inspired a lot of people, and she's a lot of women, a lot of people of color, and there are a lot of people who support her. She's making a difference. She's improving the quality of British life.
Indeed so. And go and check her out.
And she's a citizen.
On Navarra Media. Very good. Mm-hmm. Yes, indeed, yeah. She's not one of the ones that can be sent back, Boris. Although it has been pointed out that under the government's new thing, under the Windrush scandal thing, if a person who has one or more parents who entitles them to foreign citizenship, if they commit a crime, they can revoke their British citizenship and send them back. Yeah, but it's been pointed out that the Home Secretary who's in charge of that, Priti Patel, her mother was from Uganda originally. Yeah. So if we can get her on a crime, we might be able to kick her out of the country.
That retroactive, that seems like a bill of attainder, or tainter, to attaint someone.
I don't want to talk about your taint, Kristi. They're out of order.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, you're saying that if my citizenship could be revoked if my parents screwed up.
No. If you screw up, if you do something illegal, say you came to Britain and became a citizen.
Yeah.
If you screw up and your parents are from America, so you're still entitled to be an American citizen, they could send you out of the country, even if you committed the crime here. Yeah.
That's got to be some human rights violation.
I would assume so. That's probably why they want to get rid of the get us out of Europe and get us out of the European Human Rights Convention. Yeah. Which also contains little things like a fair trial and free press and all that sort of stuff. But who cares? Who cares if we can kick out some brown peeps? That's literally the opinion of the British government. That's official British policy. But we're totes. Do you remember Lawrence Fox telling us we're the least racist place in the world?
Oh, you're so polite and so lovely and not at all
We
racist.
are so lovely that we'll just shout over a brown person rubbish when we don't agree.
Yep.
That's it. Brilliant.
Hey, would you like a more positive story?
Please. For the love of God.
Harriet Tubman Highway will replace Dixie Highway in Miami-Dade.
Oh,
yes,
good.
More, please.
Just
more
good.
Of this.
Yeah.
We can go into the story a little bit from the Tampa Bay Times. Continue to the site. Oh, God, just fuck off. 3 clicks.
I won't miss this when we leave the EU.
Right.
That's the one thing. I mean, the fact that we're about to descend into some sort of dystopian hellhole without the internet completely or whatever, but
find the silver linings.
Exactly, yeah.
All right, that's fine. I'm okay with your terms of use. Miami-Dade commissioners unanimously approved renaming the county's Dixie Highway after Harriet Tubman, replacing
unanimous.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
Replacing a name branded as celebrating a racist legacy with the name of a legendary liberator of Americans subject to slavery.
That's clearly not true because the Dixie Chicks were actually very good. So I don't know why they think that's racist.
All right.
It's about country music, not hate.
Oh, please don't bring up the heritage and not hate crap. All right. The resolution by Commissioner Dennis Moss officially creates Harriet Tubman Highway out of stretches of road currently named Old Dixie Highway in South Dade and West Dixie Highway and West Dixie Highway in Northeast Dade. The Dixie Highway name remains on US 1 in South Dade, which is part of a federal network of north-south highways, but is controlled by Florida. County lawyers have drafted state legislation to replace Dixie with Harriet Tubman on Florida roads in Miami.
Oh, how much are you saving on Triple Buchanan Hawaii? Just spell it out properly. Like it's again, we're back to the whole Hindi signs and stuff now. Like just do it properly.
Make the sign bigger. Think how much that would cost, Kevin.
Yeah, that would cost a whole like fucking 50 extra cents per sign for the 300 miles of fucking motorway or whatever. Jesus.
Yeah. Tubman is history's most famous conductor of the Underground Railroad, a network of safe houses.
The conductor?
Yeah.
Tickets, please.
And hideaways used to ferry enslaved Americans away from slaveholding states into freedom. Many routes went north to Canada, but the coast of present-day Miami-Dade was also an embarkation point to freedom in the Bahamas. Quote, It's never too late to do the right thing, Commissioner Rebecca Sosa said before the vote. Commissioner Joe Martinez said he'd received calls from constituents opposing the change, pointing to the costs in swapping out the signs.
What is it with the right wing and the cost of fucking signs?
And for businesses with new addresses.
We could be spending that money on bombing brown people, but not. Oh no, we're doing it on signs. So Jesus,
when I
don't pay my taxes for signs.
So I was on the county board when I was 20 years old. I got appointed and then I got elected.
You've always been a nerd. Yeah. Oh my God.
And one of the issues that came before us was a request to rename streets in the county, not in the city, because obviously we didn't have a jurisdiction there, but there was confusion because there was like a Sunset Lane Parkway and a Sunset Lane something else. And there had been incidences where like the police had been called out or the county sheriffs had been called out and got them mixed up because they were so close. So they were asking us for safety reasons, would you please change the name of one of these roads so that we don't have this problem anymore.
And you changed it to Confederacy's Awesome Lane.
No. Well, there were more people living on the one road than the other, so it kind of was like, how do we do less harm and still, so we decided, okay, we're going to change the name of this road. And one of the residents came to the meeting to oppose it. And the reasons that he gave that we shouldn't make this public safety decision was that because he told people sometimes where he lived, what his address was, and when he told them it was Sunset Parkway, they would say, oh, what a beautiful name. And he brought his labels, his pre-printed address labels with his address.
Oh.
Saying, I paid for these. And we're like, dude, that's not enough, sorry.
Yeah, and we changed the name. That's kind of shit for you, but I think you'll survive.
Look, when the fire engine arrives at your address, you're going to be really grateful we changed the name.
Well, no, because if it burnt down, then he'd get a brand new house on whatever avenue. Whereas if that doesn't happen, then he's still stuck, isn't he? He's still stuck with his defunct labels, Kristi.
Yes. So anyway, back to the paragraph. Pointing to the costs in swapping out signs businesses with new addresses.
I was just going to say that's why I was surprised by it being unanimous, because Florida's like quite a split place, isn't it?
Well, if it's a county board and there's a pretty diverse board, population voting. I mean, it depends on Miami-Dade is in the South, right? It's the Panhandle that's like the South, and the
I have no idea.
Yeah.
But either way, look,
the farther
you'd expect
south you
it to
go,
be.
the less south it is, and the more southern it is. If you get what I mean.
Oh, okay.
You
But
know,
either
it
way,
stops
like,
being
it's-
the South. Like the Panhandle is the part. Yeah.
Yeah, the
That's
bit next
most
to
like
the South.
Alabama.
Yeah.
That's where Trump gets a lot of his votes. Anyway, Martinez said that the symbolism of Dixie should trump those concerns. Quote, if it is offensive to a section of our community, then it should be offensive to all of us.
No, I don't like country music as well, but I don't know why they've got such a problem with it. I'm still sticking to the Dixie Chicks joke.
Okay.
I'm sticking with it.
Okay. Barbara Jordan, one of 4 black commissioners on the 13-member board, recalled the days of integration in Dade County in the 1960s, when her older brother was transferred to South Dade High, home of the Rebels.
No.
For band uniforms, Jordan said, the students wore the blue and gray colors of the Confederate soldiers and played Dixie before games.
Well, hang on, blue and grey.
Yeah, I think there was I know there was the gray and the blues, but maybe they had blue in there. I don't know. So
I don't know, but anyway, yeah, that's
quote, he came home to my mother and said, I'm going to get an F. I cannot put on the rebel uniform, salute the rebel flag, and play the song, unquote, Jordan recalled.
Well, does Dixie come from Dixon, as in Mason-Dixon?
The Mason-Dixon line? Yeah.
Yeah.
Being south of the Mason-Dixon line, yeah.
So that's how Dixie got its name, okay.
And the song, I think, was the most popularizing part of it.
The Dixie.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Jordan recalled, quote, she said, you do what you have to do.
Mm. Although I have a worse example of uniform stuff. I won't use the exact phrasing. I'll replace it with the much more politically correct thing. But my school teacher, when I was a kid at high school, she said that when she was in high school, her school uniform was brown, and they literally referred to it as N-word brown. The school referred to it as that.
Not the kids like on the playground.
No, that was the official description of the.
Oh my god!
Yeah, and that would have been in like the 60s, 70s. Yeah. So it could have been worse. Rebels, by comparison, is just an allusion to the exact same thing, but at least it's an allusion.
Well, I'm sure he heard that word a lot in that school.
Yes, I imagine so. Yeah.
I kind of forgot. What's this? Oh, yeah. This is just a random tweet I thought was interesting and depressing. Percentage of Americans who say Russia and other foreign governments are likely to attempt to influence the 2020 election. 84% of Democrats, 59% of Republicans. Now the next number. Percentage of those of Americans who say this and see it as a major problem. So the people who just said yes, this is not all Americans, this is a subset. People who said, I think this is going to happen, and see it as a major problem. 82% of Democrats, 39% of Republicans.
So 20% of Republicans see it as it's going to happen, but it's not a problem.
Yep.
That's a fifth.
Yep.
That's 1 in 5 people.
Yep. Republicans who answered that they saw it was a problem. Not all Republicans.
That's not great. Also, I mean, it's one of the least offensive things about the man, but it still annoys me. Donald Trump doesn't know the meaning of the word hoax.
No.
He just describes anything he doesn't like as a hoax.
Yeah.
The Russia hoax. Well, look at the makeup again. Jesus. Look a fucking panda. Ridiculous. Seriously, does he wear the goggles when they spray him down? And he just takes them off and like, that'll do.
When he sticks his face in the mud pie of orange.
Exactly, yeah.
In the pumpkin juice.
In the Cheeto dust sprinkles. I forgot what I was going to... Yeah, not everything's a hoax,
He made
Donald.
you forget what he was
his stupidity...
No, his orange face.
Yeah, well, that's part of his stupidity. His stupidity trumped his own stupidity, and I've forgotten. He's frazzled my brain with his stupidity. That's his superpower in many respects. You forget the thing you were going to say, which was something, and then a new thing happens, and you can never complete your analysis of anything because there's just a new set of shit to deal with. Anyway, yeah, not everything's a hoax. Hoax as a definition, as a word. You can say it's a lie, or it's a scare tactic, or whatever, but hoax has a specific fucking meaning, Donald. Please do try and learn it, especially as you're trying to say that foreigners need to learn to speak the language when you don't.
Yeah, exactly. He speaks the language of the level of an 8th grader,
which is really annoying because he's not like, you can't say, oh, he's a poor kid or whatever. He was given every educational opportunity in the world.
This is laziness.
No excuse. There is no excuse for this motherfucker to be as dense, as pathetically stupid, illiterate, and ignorant of everything. Look, he was given the best education money can buy.
Oh yeah, with other people doing the work for him.
Yeah, exactly. But that's the thing. He didn't put any effort in.
No, he didn't even write the art of the deal.
Yeah, and it shows, yeah.
Yeah, everything he's done, he either bought his way to have someone else do it, or he threatened somebody. But I thought I would bookmark this because of the Sargon, the Carl video we watched about all the trash talk he was talking about Bernie because of obviously condemnable threats sent to union leadership. But I wonder, are we going to see anything on Akkad Daily about this? Death threat to whistleblower lawyer points to Trump's depravity and how Trump has basically been targeting this person, and now they're getting death threats and harassed, and it's a direct result. This isn't like Trump's supporters are sending him death. We can link it right to Trump. Yeah. Out of his mouth, basically, every time he tweets about him. When Carl's going to talk about right-wing violence or what happened in Germany?
Yeah, we haven't even talked about that, have we? I mean, I'm going to, trust me, I think it might come up in Let Them Eat Cake.
Yeah,
let's
I would
put it that way.
Oh, but, sort of a Keck-related story, actually.
Yeah, so, but just to say what happened in Germany, I actually got a bit of traction. I tweeted to Paul Joseph Watson on the Twitters.
I saw
basically saying, why have you not commented on this? You're usually quite quick to jump on a terrorist attack.
Yep, in Europe.
And I also got Sophane to follow me because of that tweet. So I'm kind of a big deal now. Just saying.
I just want to say, like, Sophane followed me before I think Poisoning the Well even got big. Well, as big as they are.
Doesn't count then.
But yeah, he's good peeps. So
he followed you before he was famous. So
well, I actually I saw one of their early videos and I liked their stuff from really early on. And then they kind of dipped into shitlord and then they kind of came out of it, or at least Sophane did. I don't know. Yeah. I don't really talk to Fat Pat too much. I don't have.
We should press gang him onto the show.
Yeah, we should get him on. That'd be great.
Oh, Roger Stone, anyway.
Violent, sexy dancing.
Oh, apologies. Yeah, no, I was I'll put my drink down and I tapped the thing.
Why,
and
you getting parched from all the dancing?
Yes, I'm, fuck it. Anyway, and the Proud Boys, I'm too far away from the thing. A male far-right extremist group continued posting on social media.
No, you were way closer before. Bring it back.
No, I mean, I had to lean forward to see the screen.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm not fucking 4 foot away from the screen, and it's tiny writing. Okay, so the Proud Boys, just what gag order? What?
Right, so a male far-right extremist group continued posting on social media in Stone's defense despite the gag order.
What gag order, though? I didn't even hear about a gag order.
Let's find out.
Okay.
It's amazing what happens when you read the articles, isn't it, Kevin?
Well, I didn't bring the article up. I have no idea.
Just, as a recommendation to Carl, try.
You can join TPM for just $1, Kristi, in case you didn't know.
Okay. The four volunteers.
Yeah. Oh, go on. No, you've got a better voice.
Okay. The 4 volunteers who Roger Stone identified in court as having worked for him at the time. Oh, wait. The disparaging image was posted? What did I miss here?
I have no idea.
It just starts like it's the middle of the thing. Did I miss page 1? All right. On Thursday, U.S. District Judge Amy Berman placed a gag order on Stone that not only limits what he can say in public and online, but also what his volunteers and associates can say about him as well. The volunteers are members of the Proud Boys, a male far-right extremist group. One of the volunteers, Ray Perez, tweeted on Friday about how the liberal media was trying to spin Roger Stone arrested. How old is this? Hold on a second. Oh, this is from last year. Sorry, everyone.
Oh, okay.
That's
why I've not heard about a gag order, because it's a year old.
Yep.
So
sorry.
Almost literally 361 days ago.
Why did they retweet this? That's weird. Anyway.
Yeah, that is very strange. Maybe just they thought, well, it's a story, people will click on it. And we did. We fell right into their fucking trap.
Oh, and this video, have you seen it?
No.
All right. So, this is, I think we can keep going on my bookmarks, but maybe this would be a good time. This would be a good thing to at least stop the videos on and start wrapping it up on. This is not how I expected this video to turn out. So let's have a listen. So this is happening at a gas station, I think.
Okay.
And it's important to know for later that a lot of people in the comments were speculating this woman is hard of hearing because she does some sign language at the end. So just keep that in mind.
You said what?
The beat that you have.
What about it?
Boo, boo, boo.
What about it? What about it?
It's not funny.
So you telling me how to play my music? You trying to tell me how to play my music?
I love it.
Oh, you like it? What I'm listening to then?
Yeah, so play it louder. Please?
Play it louder?
Oh, nice.
Isn't that adorable?
That is so cute. Oh, that's lovely. At first I thought, oh no, she's not going to be really racist, is she? Oh no. Oh no, she's awesome. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
That took me on a roller coaster, that one.
Yeah, that was all over the place, but yeah, and landed happily. So that seems like a good place to turn off the shit machine of Twitter for the day.
Yeah. Well, you won't. You'll be back on within an hour, I guarantee it.
No, probably 10 minutes after we log on, I'll be back on Twitter probably.
Well, because after the show, there's always a million people who've retweeted stuff, and you're like, oh, fuck's sake, okay, I'll deal with that. Because, I mean, everything's a chore in life, and then you die, so sweet relief.
And on that bombshell, no, we can't end it on that. So you mentioned Keck. When are you guys going to do it?
I have no fucking idea. I haven't talked to them. I contact them throughout the month and things, but I haven't actually asked, like, oh, when do you want to do that? So I'll probably do that about 3 or 4 hours before we're supposed to do it. No, I'll contact them at some point this week, or over the weekend, I should say, and it'll be probably like next Friday or something.
Oh.
Yeah, and we've got horrific shit to talk about. Brilliant. Yeah.
That reminds me, Essence of Thought put the ad out.
Yes, we're going to be playing D&D.
Yeah, Kevin's going to be complaining the whole time.
Can I just say, the first I learnt about it was when I was added to the group, and everyone was like, oh, you'll enjoy this, Kev. And I was like, enjoy what? Oh, D&D, you're going to be playing D&D. Oh, thanks. Yeah. So I was volunteered. I was volunteered by Kristi.
No, I was not. That was someone did that. You and I were at it at the same time. And when I saw your name, I tagged you in immediately because I didn't want you to start complaining. I
was told that you had done that, and I believe them because that's exactly some shit you would pull.
No, so before anything, I want to be like, no, Kevin, don't start complaining about D&D. I'll help you. That was my reaction.
Well, because I don't know what I'm doing.
I know.
And people are going to be like, noob. Which is
that's
fair, but still annoying because, like, I don't want to be a noob.
So, well, just sit back and then just say, I take out my swords and swing at the thing.
Can I go full Leroy Jenkins? Because that's the only reference I have.
I don't know who that is. Leroy Jenkins?
You don't know Leroy Jenkins?
That name sounds
Get
vaguely.
The fuck out. Get out now.
Sounds vaguely familiar.
The thing there is, like, I'm Leroy Jenkins. And he rushes in, and then everyone rushes in after him, and he gets killed.
Oh, no. Must have been a different Leroy Jenkins then. Don't know that one.
Well, we're going to have to look up... Fuck Essence of Thought for now. Look up Leroy Jenkins. You have to have seen the clip. It's like one of the most famous things on the internet ever.
Oh, okay.
Leroy Jenkins, there he is.
World of Warcraft?
Oh, is that a different thing? I don't know.
This one?
Is it? Is that not the same thing? Yeah, that'll do. That one. I don't know what these things are. Anyway.
Okay, guys. These eggs have given us a lot of trouble in the past. Does anybody need anything off this guy, or can we bypass him?
I think Leroy needs something from this guy.
Oh, he needs those devout shoulders? Isn't he a paladin?
Yeah, but that'll help him heal better. He'll have more mana.
Is this the right thing, Kevin?
Yeah, just okay. Stick with it. Stick with
it. Christ. Okay, well, what we'll do...
So they're just setting up an attack.
Run in first, gather up all the eggs so we can kind of just, blast them all down with AoE. I will use intimidating shout to kind of scatter them so we don't have to fight a whole bunch of them at once. When my shout's done, I'll need Anthony to come in and drop his shout too, so we can keep them scattered and not to fight too many. When his is done, Bass, of course, will need to run in and do the same thing. We're going to need divine intervention on our mages so they can AE, so we can, of course, get them down fast because we're bringing all these guys. I mean, we'll be in trouble if we don't take them down quick. I think it's a pretty good plan. We should be able to pull it off this time. What do you think, Abdul? Can you give me a number crunch real quick?
Yeah, give me a sec. I'm coming up with 32.33, repeating, of course.
Stay with it.
Holy cow. Okay, explain this a little bit. I know that they're going into a fight. D&D does not have those kind of stats, so it's not really as complicated. But
I don't know.
I've
got them mixed up. This
no,
is
it's okay.
World of Warcraft shit.
Oh, okay,
But just stick with it, right? Because it's like...
all right.
They're going into all of this detail. They're really well prepared.
Yeah, I'm noticing this, because I'm like, our games are not this well prepared.
I don't know.
We just like take turns and do shit. Okay. So anyway, okay, I'm just gonna hit play. So I assume the payoff's coming here pretty quick.
Yeah.
Percentage of survival.
By the way, I've never seen this before.
Better than we usually do.
All right, chums up.
Ready, guys?
Let's do this. Leroy Jenkins.
Oh my God, he just ran in.
Save him. Oh, geez, stick to the plane.
Oh, Jesus. Let's go. Stick to the plan, Shove.
Stick to the plane.
Oh, gee. Oh, fuck. Give me the divine intervention. Hurry up.
Shout, he's saying I can't cast.
I can't move. Am I lagging, guys?
I can't move.
What the hell?
I can't AE.
Oh, my God.
Oh, keep spawning.
More respawning.
I don't think you can cast with that shit. Oh my God! Shout!
We got
it. I got it. Pick it up. Come on, stay down.
Oh my God!
God damn it, Leroy!
God damn it!
Leroy, you moron! Leroy. This is ridiculous. So mass.
I'm down. Forking down. God damn it! I got killed before I could move on this.
God.
Oh, Spiffy res us.
Why do you do this shit, Leroy? I'm trying.
Not my fault.
Who's Soulstone?
We do have a Soulstone out, don't we?
Anthony, you got Soulstone? Warlock. Oh God.
Oh,
great job. What's up, Jake? Leroy, you were just stupid as hell.
Oh man. At least I have chicken.
At least I have chicken.
Oh my God.
So anyway, that's Leroy Jenkins.
I am in tears. I
just love it.
Tears
Let's do this. Leroy Jenkins. And then everyone dies.
Oh, wow. Thank you. I really needed that.
Well, there you go. We've ended on a classic piece of internet nonsense.
Well, this is good for the happy hour. Perfect.
Anyway.
Okay, so I asked you.
Yeah, and that's the actual Leroy Jenkins, like does a commentary on stuff or something. I don't know. In 2005, apparently, classic World of Warcraft legendary viral video. Fuck, that was 15 years ago. Fuck off. Oh, I'm so
no wonder
old.
No wonder I hadn't heard of it.
Yeah, I'm so old.
I was not paying attention to World of Warcraft.
There are people on the internet who were like babies when that happened. Oh.
Well, but that happens all the time, Kevin. There are people who are babies now,
and that's why we should. No, actually, I'm not going to say that. I was just going to say maybe we should do post-birth abortions.
No, you shouldn't have said that. You can get back across that line. Get back
Minecraft.
In Minecraft. There we go. Leroy Jenkins, them. Okay.
Anyway, Leroy Jenkins. Mental stupid legend. Anyway, so that was the thing that happened. Not Leroy Wills Nesson. I don't know who that is, but yeah.
Yes. Right. So on the
you have to do it, Kristi. Kristi answers.
What?
Do a Leroy Jenkins, but with your name.
Oh, right.
Because it would be weird if you shouted Leroy Jenkins, because that's not you.
Well, I'd have to shout my character's name. Presumably, his character's name was Leroy Jenkins.
No, that was his name.
Oh, it was.
His name is Leroy Jenkins. He's a real human being that actually exists.
I thought
he's a really, really stupid human being who actually exists. There we go. Anyway.
All right. Yeah. So what is it, like March 7th or something? The dates are on here. I'm all distracted now from the thing. Yeah, here we go. Detailed breakdown, events, and costs and everything.
I still don't even know what's happening here. When are we doing this? I don't even know.
Yeah, it's the 6th and 7th of March at 7:30 UTC.
That's British time, basically, isn't it?
Yeah, so a little bit later for me. And yeah, I recommended everyone in the chat. I was going to ask what you thought. I recommended Kevin just be a fighter. Just a simple fighter. Just
but I've already said, I'm a lover, not a fighter.
That's all right. You can, and I told you could be a lover of the god of war or something, or a god of love, or goddess of love.
Well, I do love Mars, but that's the chocolate bar.
Mars bars, that counts. That'd be fine.
That's a little ancient Rome joke for you.
Yeah, and then all you really have to do is try to roll higher the better. Generally, if you roll a d20.
Oh, I'm going to be really high. Yeah.
And no, there's a dice rolling thing. Well, if we do it on Roll20, which you'll have to sign up for. Anyway.
No, I do it on 420. What?
Whoop, whoop. All right. I think that's the end of the show.
Oh, why did you even get that video up then if you're not going to play the video?
To show it, to put it out there and advertise it and to mention the dates and the times and is it going to be on Twitch?
I think it's on Twitch.
Yes. So also go here to go on the Twitch channel, which I haven't subscribed to yet. Sorry, when I just burped on camera. I never do that. I'm really guessing.
Well, you didn't burp on camera.
No, I didn't. I burped on mic.
On your microphone.
On air.
Yeah.
It'll be here.
Roll to Save's maiden stream, the tale of my first session, Deming.
Yep. That's the one. So if you want to come and watch Kevin just flail about and probably swear.
Oh, yeah, this is good. Yeah, I'm going to swear a lot. Look, I swear a lot when it's something I understand. So this is going to be, I mean, I'm not going to say I'm slightly terrified because I don't know what's going to happen. But I'm also like, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know when we're going to roll our character stats. We'll have to ask that in the group because you'll want to roll your character stats, I assume, beforehand. I don't think we'll take or unless we do it all live, we'll have to see how it goes. I have to read. There's so many messages in that group that I just figured the closer it gets, I'll just update myself when decisions are made closer to the time.
Well, I've said this before, and it's true of everything ever. If you need me to be involved in any project, you need to tell me in advance, but also remind me every single day in the lead up because I will forget. So, essence of thought, if you get this, if you're listening to this, just contact me and be like, I'll send you a link at this time on this day. And that's it.
We're going to have to do some homework. I think we might have to do some character rolling and stuff beforehand. So it might be.
No, I've already said I'm Leroy Jenkins.
Yeah,
that's my character.
Okay. All right.
So, I embody the essence of the Jenkinsonian worldview.
All right. So with that, we're going to end the show.
Yes.
Thank you guys in the chat. Sorry if you said anything in the last 10 minutes. I've had tears in my eyes, and so I haven't been able to see anything. My nose is running. I'm having to cough now because of it. So we definitely have to wrap this up. But this was a much better show than last night's, and we never got shut down as far as I know. So hurrah!
Yeah, so it was clearly a glitch, wasn't it, rather than copyright?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, like I said, we're just going to plow through
Which is annoying, because I think it was really good watching the whole thing.
It was definitely. I mean, I was kind of skittish about it, but it was going okay, and then I just went...
You're fond of skittish tonight. It's a word you've not used before, I don't think, and you're skittish about skittish, clearly.
Yeah, well, it's clearly on my mind after yesterday's stream, so subconsciously, I guess it's coming out as I express my anxieties about this stream, which went fine, so I'm okay now.
Yeah, this went exceptionally well, yes.
Yeah, this won't have a sudden weird end at the podcast, for sure.
Well, let's not tempt fate.
Wait, should I put the 5 minutes of us talking bullshit in the podcast?
Yeah, fuck it. Doesn't make any sense, but yeah. Would it be any less weird than it just cutting out?
Well, I don't know. I think they're both weird.
Yeah, exactly. Just toss a coin and go with whatever's easiest.
To your Witcher. Have you watched The Witcher yet on Netflix? You have to check that out.
No, there's been sport on.
Oh yes, I forgot. All right, anyone who's still watching, all 71 of you guys, thank you for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed the show. Hope you got a couple of laughs out of it. Thank you for spending time with us and participating in the chat. It's good to know who's watching, so I do appreciate it. And anything else, Kevin, that you want to say before we leave?
I'm issuing a fatwa against D&D.
That means you're going to have to kill yourself?
No, I'm going to kill D&D before it kills me.
Wow.
I don't know. No, I'm done. I'm done. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
Well, and that, goodbye from me and goodbye from Kev. So, everyone's been awesome, by the way. And, say goodbye, Kev.
I just rolled a goodbye, Kev.
That'll do this time. Bye, everyone.
Bye.